What do you think about
I
the
know,
new
but that's your
Foya and the
daughter.
videos coming out?
Well, I hope they all come out soon.
You're
What do
hopeful
you
for them to come out?
Yeah, I want all of them to come out.
Gypsy's
I
not
want.
worried?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think that it's important for everyone to see
Hey,
everything.
Tina. Keep making content.
Hey friends, I noticed a couple of things recently that I wanted to make a quick video and point out. Let me show you from the Foya files real fast. And just a trigger warning, this is a Google search file that appears to have come from Nick's desktop. It has some bad searches on the screen I'm going to show. That's not the point of this video. I just wanted to give a trigger warning. Okay, what I wanted to point out was I noticed this here. It looks like a Wix site was being set up for Ruby Emerald Creations. And that struck a chord in my memory from Gypsy and Aleah's Facebook messages. She told Aleah that she was going to be an artist and she's a painter now, and that she was going to sell her art, and their business name was going to be Ruby Emerald Creations. Let's take a look, friends. Okay, right here, Gypsy is telling Aleah about how they're going to meet at the movies. She says they'll have their first kiss, then I'll just say, hey, Mom, I made a new friend. We trade phone numbers. Keep in touch. And then he will ask my mom's permission to court me, and then I'm betting she'll say okay, since he is respectable. Then he can visit me more, and he already bought the ring. It's beautiful. That is hilarious, friends, because we know Gypsy bought the ring. So sometime in 2016, proposal happens. I say yes, we plan, marry, we hope to buy land, live in a smaller home, then live happily ever after. As for work, he and I started a jewelry business called Ruby Emerald Creations, because I also make jewelry. So going back to that page, it looks like Nick actually was working on setting up a site for that. And the date stamp on that is June 11th, 2014, almost a year to the day before the murder. Now, because we have gotten so much extra information from the Foyas, I thought it would be a good time to review Gypsy and Aleah's messages again. So back to the beginning, we can see that it's October 12th, 2014, whenever Gypsy decided to reach out to Aleah. Hey, Aleah, it's Gypsy. That is 3 months after Nick was setting up that site. And I can't find the post right now, but I know we found a Facebook post in these new files where Gypsy was complaining about how someone found one of her racy cosplay pics and posted it on Dee Dee's fundraising site for her, saying, I don't know why we should donate. She doesn't look sick. And I wish I could find that at the moment, because I'm curious to see how that time corresponds to her reaching out to Aleah here, because she talks about the Harley Quinn picture later on. Anyway, Gypsy says, hey, Aleah, it's Gypsy. How have you been? Is that your baby? Aleah says, hey, girl, I'm good. How are you? I've missed you. LOL, no, I wish. It's my best friend's. Her name is Shirley. And then Gypsy says, I'm great. This is my personal account. My mom is still overprotective, so she don't know about this account. LOL, anyway, I'm doing great. Still live at my house. It's pink now. Smile. I've often wondered how you've been after you left home. Aleah says, I saw. It's super cute. Does your mom hate me? Ditto. I've wanted to stop by, but I wasn't sure how your mom felt about me anymore. Gypsy says, but also, I was wondering, I heard rumors that when we were friends, you was making fun of me behind my back, so I stopped being your friend. Is this true? My mom and I didn't like you after those rumors came out. So I want to pause for a minute here and give some context. Months before this, we have Facebook messages between Dee Dee and Christy where they put the blame on Aleah for something Gypsy posted that upset Rod and Christy. I've heard that it's nude pictures Gypsy sent to Rod. I've also heard that they saw the post that Gypsy put up calling her dad a sperm donor. I'm not positive which one it was. It could be both. I believe anything from Gypsy, to be honest, at this point, friends. If any of y'all know a proof either way, let me know in the comments, please. Okay, so back to reading the messages. Aleah says, no, never once did I make fun of you, Gypsy. I cared and still cared more for you than I have ever cared for my sisters. I've never even whispered one negative thing about you or your mother. Who was saying these things? I messaged her about a year ago or so on here and checked to see how you both were, and she never replied. Gypsy says, that's why, but, well, I'll be honest, I don't think my mom wants us hanging out, because, well, she said you're a bad influence on me, but I'll still be your friend on here. I just can't hang out because I gotta listen to mom. And I don't remember who said you was being mean. It was a long time ago. Well, that sounds like typical Gypsy, huh, friends? Oh, that was nothing matters. It was all in the past. That was so 10 years ago. And pay no attention to the things that she did last year, last month, last week even, because that's all in the past too. Aleah says, well, I don't blame you one bit. I wouldn't want to involve myself with someone that would speak poorly of me either. I don't blame you, Mom. I was young and incredibly stupid, but it has been several years and I've done a ton of growing up. Maybe you should slyly ask her about it. I'm 21 going on 22. It's been several years. So this is 2014. Aleah's 21 going on 22. So in 2011, she would have been 18, same age as Gypsy, about, depending on the months. I wonder, it's probably, some very normal thing. Aleah probably left home to live with a boy or something like that, a boyfriend that it sounds like they're talking about, just guessing. But I wonder if that's when Gypsy decided that she was going to follow suit and run off with Dan. We know she gets her inspiration from everything around her. She doesn't have an original thought in her head. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, friends. Okay, then Gypsy replies, I'll see. But truth is, I was going through a rough time too, but I'm growing up too. I'm a painter now. Also, I met a wonderful guy and we've been together for 2 years now. I'm going to be introducing him to my mom in March. So my mom still doesn't want me dating, but I'm hoping all will go well in March and she approves of him. He's my first boyfriend and he is amazing. He's my soulmate. Really, truly, he is. He gives me poems and is so romantic. He lives in Wisconsin, though, so it is a long distance relationship. And my older cat, the Calico, passed away in December. But we got a new one, a kitty, Sweetie Pie, and it's white with 2 heart-shaped spots on her back. That must be the kitten that we saw in Into the Weeds Live last night. And Aleah says, we all go through times like that. I hope she's understanding. How old are you these days? And what about him? How did you two meet? Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your loss, but Sweetie Pie sounds like a real cutie. How are you and your mother and your health? How are things going with all that? Been on any exciting adventures? Gypsy says, it's going to take me time, LOL. And then she says, I'm going to go eat and I'll be back on later, LOL. Gonna go eat. Yeah. Aleah says, LOL, okie dokie, enjoy. Gypsy says, thanks, smile. Then Gypsy comes back and replies to Aleah, and she lowers our age by 5 years, friends. She says, okay, now to catch up. Smile. I'm 18. Nick, my boyfriend, is 24. Gypsy was 23 at this time. This was October 2014. So she was 23. She says, we met on a Christian singles site, and what made me fall for him was when I told him I'm in a wheelchair and I've got medical issues, and I was bracing myself for him to be like other guys. I was expecting him to pity me or say goodbye. But his it's supposed to be response, was, I don't care about that. You're an angel in my eyes and you're perfect. That melted my heart. After 3 days of talking, something just connected. We started being a couple a few days later, and in the first year was fantastic, but we had a bit of trouble with his exes wanting to break us up. So we agreed. We just want to talk to them. We rarely ever argue, and if we do, it's because I'm being insecure and downing myself. I get that way during my period, so he knows to be extra sensitive, LOL. But he's the kind of man that is unreal, kind, and romantic. There's a reason why my profile pic is Cinderella and the prince, because he calls me Queen Blessing, and I call him King Charming. Smile. We are that couple that always shows PDA, and people are like, y'all are too cute, LOL. We have talked about marriage, but he plans on popping the question sometime in 2016. And we want the wedding date to be in December of 2017, if it all goes good. Smile. We want a snow wedding in a gazebo with red and white roses. And we even have planned children names. So if we have a son, it will be named Nick. So Nicholas Paul Godejohn Jr. And if a girl, Gabriella Gypsy Godejohn. Smile. So we are very serious. We say we aren't dating, we are courting, because we are both Catholic Christians. Anyways, my health has been stable. They found out I have a chromosome deletion, and that's why all the medical issues. But I'm a fighter. Face. I'm breaking in here real quick, friends, to point out, as you know, we've always known Gypsy knew about her chromosome deletion, and so did all the Blanchards, because they were all up in their Facebook pages. Okay, Gypsy says, I'll be okay. My mom's health has gotten worse over the years. She's got diabetes, heart problems, glaucoma, affects eye vision, liver disease, kidney failure, Parkinson's disease. So she's trying to still keep up, but we had to stop doing the letter, and we've only had 3 movie nights this year and only 1 last year. She just had kidney surgery for the kidney stone removal. She's getting better from that. But lots have changed here in the neighborhood. Lots of the people that lived here are gone now, like Sean and his little boy John, as well as Mr. Jason, his little boy, and Mrs. Barb and her children are gone and moved out. Let's see, Fontana still lives here, but she's not at MSU anymore. She only took classes that didn't go to her major, so she never graduated. She's going boy crazy, though. She's seeing a man that is a proud non-Christian. Her mom is going to kill her. Geez. The Debbie and Paul Akers family that lived in the big yellow house with lots of kids, well, Debbie and Paul are divorced now. All their neighbors, all their daughters got pregnant at like 16 and moved out. The Neff boys still live there. Anthony Neff went into the military. He also got married. David Neff, his younger brother, is sleeping with Debbie Akers. She's like 45 and he's 18, 19. Creepy. And as for your mom and sister, I don't get to see them too often since we rarely have movie night. As for my mom and my relationship as mother-daughter, it has gotten better after the rough patch I went through. I rebelled a lot against her, so it put a strain on our relationship. But slowly we got that love back, but still building trust back. As for adventures, we went to Disney World, Disney World, and Universal Studios in 2012. It was awesome. Then in 2013, we went to Cape Cod because I was nominated and won 5 awards for being a positive role model for children. Just to reiterate, friends, in 2013, she would have been 22, depending on the month exactly, maybe 21. But yeah, 21, 22, winning 5 awards, positive role model for children. So anyway, positive role model for children with medical issues. And I'm still doing public speaking, and I love it. Yeah, she always wanted to be a public speaker, friends. Famous artist or public speaker, but either way, she wants attention on her. So if anybody complains about our commentary pointing out her inconsistencies and lies, you can remind them Gypsy loves it. She loves public attention. And I know there are some concerned that us who commentate on her are feeding her need for public attention. And that is a problem that we can't get around without silencing all of our voices from being the ones that speak up of calling out her lies and just allowing her to run wild with her narrative in the public. I believe that that would be very dangerous because we saw from her prison emails that she really wants to work with kids, friends. She wrote in her prison emails that she wanted a job as a Build-A-Bear worker or maybe a character at Disney World. And then whenever she got out, she spoke about what types of jobs she would like in an interview, I think it was, or who knows, maybe a TikTok live where she was interviewing herself. But she said that a job she would really enjoy is working in hospitals, putting together programs for children, because she really enjoyed those when she spent time in hospitals. So yeah, she has a goal to be around kids, and that's creepy. Because even if none of these bad searches came from Gypsy, by her own admission, knew that Nick was into this stuff. And what does she proceed to do? Make that video saying, listen, 7 is too young, but when she's 13, our daughter, I'll explain to her that you're going to take her V card. Gypsy has a history of, by her own words, having men confess instances of imagining or whatever of child SA, and she goes on to have a relationship with those men. Okay, anyway, back to her weirdo messages. She says, let's see. Oh, and the best news, Mom and I are going to Disney World again in January. But guess what? We are also going to the Harry Potter park. Get this, at the same time. The Harry Potter celebration will be going on, and I will have dinner with the actors from the cast. Smile. I think Daniel Radcliffe will be there too. Ah! Then she says, okay, so tell me everything that's been going on with you. Smile. And these days, and things I'm into these days, I love the Hunger Games movies. I'm reading the Mortal Instruments book series. And I'm still homeschooled. Smile. Doing good on that. All A+. Yeah, we saw the grade levels that her workbooks were at, friends. Dear Lord. Also, it appears that Dee Dee may have kind of stopped the homeschooling once Gypsy was actually past real age 18, which is totally fine. Gypsy says, I also got rebaptized because I wanted to be saved after my little acting out in 2011. So I wear my purity ring as a symbol of my faith to God. It's hilarious, friend. She's planning a murder at this time. She is planning a freaking murder. Talking about how she's so good at stealing. She would kill happily and there would be lots of blood. She can murder, torture, and rape. Yeah, I've never saw stronger cognitive dissonance in anyone. And I think it's why she feels no remorse, because she can actually hold completely opposing beliefs about herself without feeling any conflict in herself. If that makes any sense, friends. If it sounds like I need another cup of coffee, it's okay to let me know in the comments. Okay, now this one is interesting. Gypsy says, oh, also, that pic of me licking a knife, I'm not going crazy. I was dressed as Harley Quinn, the Joker from Batman's Girlfriend. LOL, I'm not nuts. So yeah, it might have been that she just posted the Harley Quinn pic on this secret Facebook. Who knows? And these get interesting. Gypsy says, oh, I see you got a new beau. Link face. Did things not work out with that boy, Cody Jet? Also, I'm on Instagram, Skype, and Twitter. LOL. Good God, Instagram, Skype, and Twitter. I think she was also on FetLife, MySpace, and no telling what else. Then she says, OMG, you make reborn baby dolls? Cool. I have an avatar once. I am really curious about that avatar baby doll because we've never, as far as I know, never seen it in any crime scene pics. However, there is a baby doll in the crime scene pics that to me looks like it might be a reborn doll that hasn't been well taken care of or just a more lifelike doll. I'll let y'all see it whenever we're done with these messages and see what y'all think. Okay, and then Aleah tells her about what she's been up to. Nothing really about Dee Dee and Gypsy in that one. Aleah says, my family all loves him and all of his family loves me. It's perfect. Then she says, LOL, thanks. I was originally going to use the doll head as a prank for someone that did some poor things to me, but I decided against it. So instead, I decided to use it for Halloween decor because John and I are both obsessed with Halloween. We plan on dressing up super creepy like and whatnot. Smile. Now that makes me wonder, what was the time period when Gypsy posted that YouTube about Aleah and said it was revenge before YouTube took it down for bullying? I almost wonder if Leah's being a little passive aggressive there, saying someone that did some poor things to me. I can't find the post that she did about Aleah. Hopefully someone else will find the screenshot. And she was letting Aleah see a lot of the cosplay pics she was posting. So Leah says, that pic of you in the headpiece is especially beautiful. You've done a ton of growing up. It's insane. We have a ton of catching up to do, Missy. I really hope we get to meet up and hang out soon because that would be incredible. Gypsy says, that's awful about your ex, but so happy you found love. Smile. Look at us, young women with great guys. Smile. And then about the headpiece deal, Gypsy says, thank you. I was doing a dress-up thing. I like to cosplay, so I was Mary from TV show Rain. We should probably look into Rain and see what stories she stole from their friends, because we also saw that DVD on Gypsy's side of Dee Dee's bed on the nightstand, the Rain series DVD. Gypsy says, yes, the March and Nick and I plan a meeting. We're going to go see the new upcoming Cinderella movie. I'm dressing as Cinderella, and he's going in a more formal wear, dress shirt and tie, LOL, and I'll get my very first kiss. I'm so excited. I'm also nervous because I don't know how to kiss, LOL. Research on YouTube, LOL. Okay, so we are back to the beginning with those messages. That's the end there. Okay, one more thing I want to show real quick. There are pictures of this in the new Foya, but the easiest way that I could find one quickly was the GRB Snark. Thank you to Theme Crazy for posting this. Okay, so this is Gypsy Rose's Star Wars armor. Notice how it's specifically made with little beeps. Clearly Dee Dee was fine with that, right? Because Dee Dee pushed her all around in this stuff or walked behind her as Gypsy did the motorized thing. But lots and lots of pictures taken. It obviously wasn't a problem. Okay, here is a page out of Gypsy's 2024 book, My Time to Stand. She says, where my mother had humiliated my femininity by binding my breasts, Nick ordered me to humiliate myself by slathering them with barbecue sauce. So she claims that Dee Dee bound her breasts because breasts were sinful and dirty. She said that in an earlier passage of the book. Why would a mom who's binding her daughter's breasts to prevent femininity from being shown allow a costume with pre-made boobs? And that's just my question, friends. Maybe I'm totally missing something here, but yeah. Well, there's some more interesting points in that part of Gypsy's book here. She says, I was a mechanical doll taking instruction and acting them out without pleasure or pain. I just was. She says the validation I'd received from Nick kept me compliant and submissive. In order to be accepted, I needed to keep him happy. I had no other suitors, no other reference point. What? We know that's not true. And she says, I was alone, and I wanted my aloneness to be cured, to treat it, because it was the one true disease I actually had. No. She has microcephaly. Even her biggest supporters have had to admit that she does have microcephaly. And their excuse is, well, it was just like 1 centimeter within the microcephalic range. Well, then she has microcephaly, you know? She also has mild scoliosis. She wrote emails to Ryan from prison saying that her back hurt so bad from her mild scoliosis after standing for like an hour or something at the job that she did, that she didn't think she was going to be able to work. Huh. Sounds like what Dee Dee said about her, interestingly. She also, we know she has a chromosome deletion. We know that her crossed eyes were very bad and that they would have gotten worse had Dee Dee not had the surgeries she had done on her. So that's 4 that we're up to, friends. And that's not even counting the stomach issues that are now coming out in newly released medical records. I believe Becca Scoops has covered them. Amber mentioned it on Into the Weeds Live last night. So yeah, Gypsy says the one true disease she actually had was aloneness, but no, she had several friends. She says, here's a guy who is into this odd stuff. Okay, but how bad can it be? Maybe hit guys his age explore sexually in this way? How would I know or not know? Oh, friends, we saw the video that she sent to Nick where she literally sat there and said, oh, yeah, I've met so many weirdos online. One was into a diaper fetish and blah, blah, blah. And then she wrote in one of her prison emails that she was very, very clear. She did not want her and Nick to be portrayed as some sort of Bonnie and Clyde ride or die types, even though they talked about that a lot, because she said she talked to a lot of other men on live and online and left the house to meet them. She mentioned specifically a 50-year-old man named Richard Keene in Springfield that she snuck out and met. So basically, everything that she's writing here about herself is bullshit, friends. Most everything she says about other people appears to be bullshit too. She says, Nick says, I'm so proud of you, after she sent him her initiation video, which formally defined their roles in the BDSM relationship. And Gypsy says, at the end of the video, I had to say, please consider me as your submissive. As elaborate as the details of his fantasy realms, Nick would send me scripts to act out, direct my dialogue and costuming, and demand unusual sexual behaviors with phallic objects while contorting my body so my female parts were exposed, like the parts under the hood of a rusty old car. Now, while we have seen horrendous searches that appear to be on Nick's computer, what we have not seen is him actually raging out on Gypsy or demonstrating the ability to create elaborate scripts. Gypsy says, Nick pulled BDSM through like a thread in his fantasy world stories. There was no separation between the realms and our dominant and submissive acts. Whatever we would be doing or saying as dominant and submissive was all in service of his kingdom or the realm, or the dark one, where Victor and Nick's evil twin were all out to get me, to pillage me, to make me scream in horror, and degrade my womanhood with each painful thrust of their daggers. Again, I do think Nick had some very dark desires, but the way that she describes him here versus what we've seen in the videos, her deciding to go along with him was an absolute choice, because anyone in their right mind, and I know Gypsy's not in her right mind, but that's not an excuse, because she's smart enough to plan a murder. She was smart enough to tell just how impaired and obsessive Nick was. She even said to one of her cellmates, and that video is out now, the cellmate talking about it to Stan Hancock, when the cellmate asked her, hey, that seems kind of fucked up. Dude was low IQ. He gets a check, a government check. Did you seek him out on purpose? Gypsy said, I probably did. Now, real quick, this is from the crime scene pictures from Nick's room. This appears to be his journal. 2/3/2015, a slow day. Today I woke up with lower back pain. It wasn't present until I got up. He talks about that a while. Says he's a day closer to not having to miss Gypsy. And the last paragraph is something about sleep and time. It's very hard to make out. I don't know what the hell she is talking about with this deep and detailed stories that can suck people in. Again, like I keep saying, I don't think Nick is a good guy. I'm not interested in fighting for Nick personally. I would never stop anyone else's efforts for what they thought it was right to do. But yeah, my opinion from his confession, and even more so from the searches we've seen that appear to have come from his computer, that he is where he needs to be. But Gypsy, on the other hand, is not where she needs to be, and she is out trying to influence the public and children. And I think it's really, really important to point out where she tries to make Nick more in charge of the crime than what he ever was, and more in charge of her own actions than what he ever was. Because she talks about how she had to do exactly what he says and stuff, and we see from the Foya videos that that is bullshit. They seem to have actually had an equal relationship as far as their screwed up attempt at BDSM went, because even though Victor was in charge of Gypsy, Victor was apparently Gypsy's master. Gypsy said in another video that Demona is Nick's master. So the whole thing was 50-50, and that's why she absolutely could not, on her attorney's advice, perjure herself on the stand and say that it was great whenever she had agreed to all that with Nick. So anyway, friends, I know this has been kind of rambling and off on a lot of different topics, but there were a lot of things that I just wanted to cover, and none of them seemed quite enough for their own video, so I decided to just go over them all in this one. We'll go out with a palate cleanser. I hope everyone's having a great day. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments, friends.
Keep making content.